Good morning. Yesterday, as we've been in Philemon, we looked at the idea of forgiveness. This morning, what I want to look at is the idea of how Paul is going to leverage this deal. So let me read verses 17 and 18. Remember, Paul is writing to Philemon. Philemon was the slave owner of Onesimus. Onesimus ran away, ended up with Paul, became a believer, and now Paul is trying to secure Onesimus's freedom. And so what he says in verse 17 here in Philemon is this. So if you consider me your partner, receive him as you would receive me. If he has wronged you at all, or owes you anything, charge that to my account. And so I imagine that in those days, Paul could probably use as much leverage as he possibly could as he traveled throughout the known world, spreading the gospel and relying upon small churches' donations to for his livelihood. Now, he, of course, could also mend tents. We knew that he was a tent maker, and so if things got hard, I'm sure he fell back to that job. However, what Paul is doing here is he's taking the leverage and he's taking the favors, and he is cashing in, if you will, the favors that were owed to him and securing Onesimus's debt. And so what we see is Paul is acting like Jesus, of course, because Jesus does this for us. He calls all of us to treat each other with great deference, with forgiveness, with mercy, and with grace because of what Jesus has done for me. Then he asks me to extend that to the human race. And so we may think that this is too much to ask, but it's not. Oftentimes when I am tempted to feel sorry for myself, I will think back on Jesus and what he has done for me, and then what he's asked me to do for you and for everybody around me. And then I will be leveraged into trying to be at the very least, and perhaps even succeeding in becoming forgiving, full of mercy and grace, and extending that, and then calling other people to follow me as I follow Jesus. And you see how this goes on and on and on. This is our birthright as Christians. This is how we need to be changing the world. We don't demand our rights so much, and I know that there is a time for that. We see, and this is another subject that I don't want to spend time on, but there are times to demand our rights. But we need to know when is the time to demand our rights, and when is the time that we would lay down our favors, our rights, and our very freedom for other people. And we will be guided by the Holy Spirit as we are seeking, or knocking, seeking, knocking, asking, seeking, and knocking. That's why we need the Holy Spirit, and why we need to be reading the scriptures so that we can recognize the times that we should be doing which. All right, guys. Well, God bless you. Read the passage again, Philemon. I think all of us should have that in our brains, that the Holy Spirit might use it to minister to us and cause us to become like Jesus. Have a great day.